Are you your worst enemy? Have you ever had self-limiting beliefs holding you captive from moving forward and being who you really would like to be? So don't miss today's conversation with Lisa D. This show is just for you. Stay tuned. You are watching So Victory Live with Brigetti Limbanda and Shannon Malcolm Daniels.
So Victory Live is all about sharing stories to ignite and inspire victories. We are here on Wednesdays, and our first, third, and fifth Wednesdays, we go live at 11 a.m. New York time, and second and fourth Wednesdays at 9 p.m. New York time. And you can get all this information at sovictory.com/talk-show. Now, after the
And welcome everyone. You're watching So Victory Live. Hey Shannon, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today, Brigetti?
I'm very well, and every week I'm in absolute awe how we are connecting from all corners of the globe thanks to technology. And I'm
Yes,
so looking forward to talking to Lisa D today.
me too. I got to get a little sneak peek of her story, and I am so excited to hear the full story. Well, as much as we can tell in a short episode, right? No one can tell their life story in 10, 15 minutes, but I'm very excited to hear what she has to share with us today. I'm especially excited because it seems like she has a lot of parallels in her life to getting unstuck, taking that leap of faith, leaving that corporate job, and really just diving headfirst into her passion, but she did it with an actual strategy in place. So I'm excited to hear more about that today.
I absolutely am. She's got a phenomenal story, and isn't it just amazing how many times we've had people on the show and we can absolutely relate to their experiences or their life story, and Lisa is no different.
Absolutely. Yes. So I am very, very excited to introduce her and have her talk with us today. And I'm especially excited to have the roundtable afterwards. So if you are with us right now, make sure that you stay afterward for the meet and greet where we're going to, after we hear Lisa's story and have the show, we're going to be able to jump in a room with her and everybody talk and ask your questions and just share your own stories. So a little bit about Lisa D. Lisa is a mindset coach and the owner of Boundless Potential Coaching. She holds both an MBA and a CPA. Wow, ladies and fellas out there, pretty amazing. And Lisa actually coaches entrepreneurs, professionals, and organizational teams, helping them to uncover the root of their limiting beliefs that hold them back from achieving success in both business and life. Lisa leverages her 25-year experience across multiple business settings to help her clients reframe their thinking so they can become both unstoppable and successful. Sounds pretty amazing. Let's welcome Lisa. Let's give her a big welcome.
It absolutely does. Lisa, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Good morning, ladies. It's awesome to be here. Super excited to be a guest.
All right. Wonderful to have you. Brigetti, what are you most looking forward to hearing today as part of Lisa's story?
You know, Lisa, I think a lot of us at some point in our lives have gone into a career or doing stuff that we were not really comfortable with doing it, but we did it anyway. And so I'm really looking forward to just hearing how you dealt with this, because I think a lot of us get stuck in a rut and we don't know how to move the needle. So I'm really looking forward to your story and just figuring out how you move the needle, because I think that also, like we said earlier, Shannon, is very relatable to a lot of people. And I think even with COVID, you know, for some people it was good and some people it was bad. So I'm keen to hear how you move the needle, Lisa.
Yeah,
You know, it'll be an interesting story to tell. Oh, I love this little picture. Believe it or not, people think, oh, they have their baby pictures forever. I just found this picture within the last few weeks. And we've been cleaning out my mom's house. She moved, and we found some great old gems like this picture. And when I think back, to when I was little, my parents were kind of unique at the time. My dad immigrated originally from China in the 60s, and my mom was born and raised here in Ohio. And they met at the hospital, believe it or not. My mom was a social worker. My dad was a young resident. And at the time, it was probably quite unusual to see kind of an interracial couple. But they worked through it. And I have an older sister, and she has been a great supporter for everything that I've done in my life. And so she found this picture and said, oh, look at this. And I thought, this must be you. And she said, nope, that is you when you were a baby. So just thinking back to those times, I miss my dad. He passed away 3 years ago, but he's left so many wonderful memories and lessons for me that I've taken every day of my life. And so just kind of looking back and thinking, wow, things have, changed so much over the years just from when I was a kid. I mean, the world that we live in today doesn't even look remotely the same in so many ways. But, I would say, other than having maybe unique parents, I had a pretty typical upbringing, just like any kid growing up at the time, and, enjoyed all the same things that all the other kids did. But, I was really, really quiet, really, really shy as a child. And for many, many, many years, that continued. That was kind of my, personality, so to speak. And so for me, thinking back to those days, I was scared. I was always really scared. I know I cried a lot because I was scared. And I really lived in a shell for quite a long time. And, I guess people think, oh, well, you kind of outgrow it as you get older. And you do in some ways. But in a lot of ways, I stayed in my, kind of comfortable shell, even through my schooling and my professional years, just kind of getting my feet wet in the corporate environment. And so I was quiet for a long time. And eventually grew out of that shell, but it really wasn't really until the last several years that I jumped out of my shell, I'll say, and got out of my comfort zone and did things that maybe I hadn't, would never have thought of doing. Anybody that knew me when I was younger probably can't even believe, things that I'm doing now, which is great. I really am proud of myself that I grew. Everyone's journey is different. But, for me, I was just, ready for the change. I knew I had to do something. I sat in that, comfort zone for a long time, as Brigetti was talking about. And, you don't grow there. It's not a place of growth. And even though I had a lot of great experiences with my work as an accountant for many years, I kind of didn't grow as much as I had hoped. And I just felt like, well, I can't leave this comfort zone. I've been in this career, I was a CPA, still active license, but not practicing. For 25 years, I've been a CPA, and, it's a great, great career for me. I learned a ton of things. And just for me, it was just a place where I could kind of stay, and do fine financially, provide for myself and for my family really wonderfully for many years. And I learned a lot and made a lot of great connections over the years. But I could see over time, that I was a bit restless. And, that does happen with some people, but I found it as a reoccurring theme over the years. So I'm not sure, but is the slideshow not moving? I do love seeing the little picture of me as a kid, though. It's pretty cute. Here's another good picture. We were traveling and visiting friends in Arizona at the time. And here I am graduating from college, John Carroll University in Cleveland, Ohio, with my undergraduate degree in accountancy. I picked that major because I always loved numbers. I consider myself a numbers person, and I thought business was really interesting. I did pretty well with it in school, so I thought this seems like it's going to be a good fit. So that's what I ended up pursuing, really. And I think it's probably unusual now, but I was one of those people that stayed in my career that I got my undergraduate degree in, but that's what I did. And so I really enjoyed that career for a long time. I did a lot of different roles in accounting. I started out in auditing. I had done corporate reporting. I had done taxes the last number of years. I really changed from a big public firm. I worked in a smaller firm. I worked for big companies, small companies, manufacturing. I mean, everything. I've tried everything. And I've got a lot of great experiences. This photo here is me graduating with my MBA from Cleveland State University. And that was actually me following the steps that I thought I should follow. You know, my parents said, oh, well, you want to get an advanced degree. You know, after you get your undergraduate degree, get that advanced degree. Those are the steps that you should follow. And my, employer encouraged me to do that also at the time. So I did what I thought I should do, following those steps of success kind of laid out before me by other people. And, it worked out, in a lot of ways. Great career for me. And I was so happy that my whole family could be here with me that day. And I love my MBA experience. I had a lot of great people in my class, a really diverse class, all different ages, backgrounds, races, religions. It was really a great experience. I learned a ton. So shortly after that, I met my now husband, and this is us here on our honeymoon in Hawaii. We were on a friend's boat, and we just had a blast. I can't wait to get back there. And when I think about it, it's just amazing that I met my husband, when I did. We had a ton of things in common. It just clicked, kind of right away. We were engaged for a very short period of time and then got married, and we've been married 14 years since then. And we've just had really pretty easy, I have to say, so far. I mean, not that we haven't had challenges in life, but as far as a marriage, we've gotten along great. He's my confidant and my biggest supporter. So thrilled to have him. And I can't wait to go back to Hawaii. We keep saying we're going to go back. We've had 2 kids since then. And it's just a little tougher to take the kids that far on a trip, but we do hope to go there. And, here's where I started having kids. I had 2 daughters. They're 2 years apart. This was my younger daughter's baptism. And, it's always great to have the support of your faith community and your family. So I love this picture because my parents are in it, and everybody's healthy and doing great. And we had a beautiful day that day when my younger daughter was born in 2012. So that really started my journey as a parent. I quickly, after getting married, we started having kids. And I thought, wow, okay, I can do this too. So I threw that in the mix. And at the time, I was looking for something work-wise that was flexible because I had two little ones. And so I decided to do my own accounting work. So I opened my own small business as accountant, and I gathered a few clients. And, that's really the flexibility that I needed at the time. And really, I enjoyed the work, but I still felt like I was looking for something else. And I never really knew what. I always kind of kept my accounting work going, at least on a part-time basis. And I got, introduced to a network marketing company, and it was in the energy industry. And I thought it was so fascinating. And what I loved about it is that I could help people save money on something that they use every day. So if I could help them save money on their electric or gas bill, I thought that was great. And it didn't cost them anything to become a customer. And I just loved the whole concept. Because people weren't buying things that they didn't need. It was something that they needed and used every single day. And I thought, well, why not save them money? It was really in alignment with what I was doing as a CPA for individuals and companies throughout my career. And this was an opportunity for me to grow because it was very, very different from anything that I ever did. And I learned a lot about myself and starting something totally different and doing presentations and talking to people. And it was a really, really great experience. This picture here is a part of my Toastmasters journey. So a few years ago, I joined Toastmasters. If people are familiar with that, Toastmasters International. And I wanted to improve my public speaking skills. I wanted to network and be a better communicator. And really that's, the main reasons that I joined. And I was nudged by a few people in my club. Well, why don't you try to do a contest? Why don't you compete in a contest? That's how you really get better. And I thought, well, okay, this was in 2020. And I thought, well, it's virtual. And I thought that seems like pretty doable. I'll just give it a shot. I didn't give it a lot of thought. And I ended up winning a contest. I made it, I think, up 2 levels. And I won the area contest. And I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. Because if anybody had met me when I was that little girl in the first picture, staring out, into space, I was super shy. And I'm like, how can the super shy accountant win a contest, a speech contest of all things? I used to be terrified to speak in front of people. So that was huge for me. I learned so much. I mean, my speaking skills became a lot better. I became better at writing things and just being a communicator and reaching people, kind of where they are, sharing my story, helping people realize that, hey, if this shy accountant girl can win a speech contest, you can too. So that really kind of led me to reevaluate, what was I doing? Because I felt restless many times throughout my career and I wasn't sure what to do about it. And I just did nothing. I just kind of sat with it. And I realized over time that I had to do something. There was no more time in the comfort zone. I had to make a leap. And this picture here was just taken last month. This was something that I definitely got out of my comfort zone for this. I had never driven a jet ski before, and I'm not the world's greatest swimmer. And I thought, well, I asked my clients to get out of their comfort zone, so I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. So I got on this jet ski with my younger daughter, and I was scared. I'm not going to lie. It was a beautiful day. Nothing was wrong with the jet ski. I was so scared, though. So I know what it's like to jump out of your comfort zone and try something different. And I thought, well, they said nobody gets hurt on these things. It's pretty safe. But then it turned out it was a very kind of bumpy day out there on the water, although it was beautiful. And I was glad that I did it. And I may try it again. I just need to relax more. I would enjoy a lot more if I relax. So that was my recent jumping out of my comfort zone, that I challenged myself to do it. I pushed myself to do things I'm not comfortable doing, like going live, for example. And I'm always so happy that I do it. I look back afterwards and think, geez, what was I waiting for? That wasn't so bad. I feel glad that I stretched myself and grew. And that's how I work with my clients too, because I understand what it's like to be scared and live in that comfort zone, but you really have to jump out of it. That's when you realize, hey, I've been missing things and I need to try new things and grow. And that's really what I've done throughout my work as a coach.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story and just letting us know how you pivoted and moved out of your comfort zone, to not just help yourself, but also to the point where you have become a coach to help other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it? Progress and success is just beyond your comfort zone. So you really just have to push past, like you mentioned, Lisa, being uncomfortable doing lives and stuff. As many of these as I'm doing now, thanks to the help and the prodding from Zeph and Brigetti, I still feel like, even though I coach people on public speaking and communication events, I don't love going live. And I make myself do it, get past my comfort zone, get out there, and I always am happy I did it. I never look back and regret it. So I feel like when we can push past that comfort zone and break through that fear and get unstuck, which we're going to talk about a little more when we come back, it really does make a difference in our lives, and it helps us grow as individuals, and it helps us help others grow in turn.
Yeah, when people realize it's not so scary and you can do it, and yeah, you might fumble a little, you might make mistakes, you might get really scared. That's all normal and human. But when you look back at it, you just feel so glad that you did it, and you feel really accomplished that, hey, I did something that was hard, that I didn't do for some period of time because I was scared, but I actually jumped in, took the leap, and it worked out great. And look how much I grew, and I feel like $1 million because I did it.
That's great. Well, should we take a quick break, Brigetti, and then come back and dive into some questions?
Yes, I'd love to do that. And I just really want to give a quick shout out to our live audience. It's always amazing to see people in the comments interacting. And also a shout out to our replay viewers. Welcome to the show to you too. So we'll take a really, really quick break and then we'll dive in because we really are wanting to get into this a bit more. And welcome back, everyone. You are watching SOW Victory Live with myself and Shannon Malcolm Daniels and our amazing guest, Lisa D. Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Your slides were amazing. I don't have such cute baby pictures.
Oh, I'm sure they're cute. You'll have to share them next time.
Oh my goodness. Shannon, do you have cute baby pictures? I think a lot of people are like, why don't I have cute baby pictures?
I do have baby pictures, and having seen Lisa's today and then all the comments of people going crazy about baby pictures, I know some of our other guests have shown baby pictures and pictures of when they're kids. I think that we should collect baby pictures from our SOW Victory community and get those out into the world. I think that would be amazing.
That sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a fabulous idea. It's a great conversation starter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and just sort of to the point of our conversation today, sometimes we're born into circumstances and we do things because of the circumstances we were born into, but it doesn't mean that that's where we get stuck, right, Lisa? You have to move, can you give people like maybe one or two tips as to if they were born, they found themselves born into circumstances and they feel stuck and they can't move the needle forward? Could you give us one or two tips? What can you do if you feel stuck?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I usually start, if I'm in a difficult place, I start with gratitude and think about how everything I have going for myself in my life, all the gifts that I've received. I think that helps, center and focus people on what's really important to them. And I understand, the situation where you might feel stuck or afraid and think, well, how can I get out of this? You have a support system, reach out to people that care about you and say, hey, I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time. I think we need to lean on our support system when we're in those difficult spots. But it's realizing that, people go through really difficult challenges and look for kind of inspiration that's around you. I mean, there's people that have overcome some incredible things in their lives and they've come out just a real winner on the other side. I mean, I encourage people to look for the positive in their life and stop focusing on the negative. We're really boundless individuals. We have a lot of gifts and we need to share them. And I really encourage people to think about that whenever they can, and if they're just in a tough spot and they can't break out of it, what is your happy place? Go to that happy place, even if it's in your mind, or maybe it's being in nature. Go out and take a walk, snap yourself out of that place, if you're in a really difficult spot and having a bad day or something like that. But I would say gratitude, lean on your support system, and focus on everything that's going right for you.
Yeah, and it was interesting because there was a topic we had during SOW Victory Fest where someone talked about toxic positivity and how we live in this world where we're constantly positive, 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 positive. And so I agree with you 100%, Lisa, that we do need to focus on what we're grateful for and the positive in our lives, while also acknowledging our negative thoughts and feelings that are there. And research has shown it takes a minimum of 3 and a recommended 5 positive thoughts and feelings to offset every one negative feeling. So that's why it's a lot easier to get drowned in the negative and be so focused on the negative, because your body responds with the fight or flight response to those negative things, those negative thoughts, those negative feelings. And we don't have time for me to go into all the details about our neurological firing patterns and how those become every day and your go-to cookies in your brain of your thoughts and feelings. But it is very important to look at your gratitude, to practice positive affirmations. To one of the big things in psychology is to write down the 3 good things. So at the end of each day, write down just 3 good things that happened every day, because we get so caught up in, oh, I spilled my coffee on me, or oh, I stubbed my toe, or oh, this went wrong, that we forget about all those little things that went right through the day. So that's absolutely 100%. And I also love the asking for help and leaning on your support system. For you, how did you find your community helped you? And what was really your support system? You talked about your husband and your family and your children. Who did you lean on, and how did you go about using your community to get you unstuck and moving forward to the place where you are now?
Definitely, my family and friends, I have a great close group of close friends, and just leaning on them, saying, hey, I'm going through this, thinking through these different things, I'm struggling, that sort of thing. But, I also had coaching too, and that's kind of what helped me, make my decisions and, sharpen my thinking processes, because you're totally right, Shannon. I mean, just automatically we go to the negative. That's just kind of how we're hardwired. And so it takes some real effort, to think differently, to think positively. So, I started with the Bob Proctor coaching program, and I just loved it. It is helping me start to retrain how I think, and kind of leaning on the resources that I had, with the Bob Proctor Institute. And it's just been a great experience. Plus, my family and friends, absolutely, helping me, encouraging me, supporting me through the whole entire process. It's really, something I couldn't do without, for sure.
Yeah.
So Lisa, there are coaches and there are coaches. How do you choose a good coach, and why should you choose a coach when you are feeling stuck? Like, what is the value of getting a coach as opposed to trying to struggle through it yourself?
Well, people can make whatever choice they like. They can decide, hey, I want to keep struggling in this spot. I've been doing this for however long. Let's say it's a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You can continue down that path, but that's like the slow and painful path. What you really should do is think about, working with a coach, somebody that like, and trust. It's a very personal kind of relationship, to have with somebody that you're sharing things that are really difficult, where you're looking for help, you want to improve and get better. So you have to have, kind of, you have to trust that person. You have to have a connection with that person and feel that, they understand you. They know where you're coming from. They can help you. They lead, they live by example. You kind of, the whole thing with parents and kids, they don't do what you say, they do what you do. They model your behavior. So you want to work with somebody that, you respect, that's kind of blaze the trail before you, that you have a good connection. There's a trust that's kind of built in there. So that's really what I would suggest.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. Trust and connection are so important when selecting a coach. Whenever I'm working with someone, I say, we're going to do a complimentary session first, because I want to make sure that you're the right client for me and that we're a good fit, and B, that you like my coaching style and I'm the right coach for you, that you trust me, that we connect, that it makes sense. And because if it doesn't, if you don't have trust, coaching is something you have to really open up for. I know we're running low on time. I wanted to get one question in from the audience. Zeph asked us, what was the turning point in that helped you take that leap of faith with your career to where you are today? So was there like one little antagonistic thing that stood out for you that led you to go, okay, enough is enough. I have to turn this around and make that leap of faith?
Well, I had what I call a really serious conversation with myself. I had a deep period of reflection where I was like, what am I doing here? What do I really want to do? And this is the same question that I ask my clients. What do you really want? And, life is short. If that's not one thing we didn't learn from COVID, is we saw so many people, young, old, every age, just dying so quickly. And to me, that, was kind of like, wake up call, people wake up. And that was the same for myself. I thought, what am I doing? What am I doing with my days? How am I spending my life? If I look back and, I'm preparing the eulogy for myself, am I going to say that I lived the full life that I really wanted to live, that I helped people that I wanted to help the way I wanted to? And at the time, my answer was no. And so I knew I had to make a change. I was just had a serious talk and I was like, what are we doing here? Let's stop messing around. Let's take that leap, make the change. You can do it. You have the support. There's no reason to not make the change. So that's what I did.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being so brave and A, making that change, and B, sharing your story and opening up with our audience today. Brigetti, any final words or questions?
All I want to say is, Lisa, thank you so much for the practical advice that you've shared today in helping us move the needle forward if we are feeling stuck. We've unfortunately out of time. The 30 minutes always goes by so quickly, but just a quick reminder to our audience is don't leave. The show doesn't quite end when we say goodbye here. We're going to move over to a post-show meet and greet session. And then you can get the opportunity to have a more intimate conversation with our amazing guest for today. So do shift over, come and join us on the link to have a quick meet and greet and get to know Lisa just a little bit better. So with that, a huge big thank you to everyone who's joined us live today. We'll see you back on the next episode, but see you for the meet and greet. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
See you.